Hey guys, Woody the Unexceptional Gamer. Welcome to Mail Monday. Weekly series is not about the gameplay, but instead is about your questions and my answers to it. Here we go. I made this as short as I could. Woody, I need your help. I'm a 25-year-old virgin. Call me a pussy if you want. I know I am. Sorry about the bad grammar. I have really bad social anxiety, and anytime I do anything to change it, it seems like there's always something to bring me down. I have two friends on the internet, one in the UK, so I get about 3 hours to talk to her, and the other, her sleep schedule's messed up, so I don't get to talk with or play with her much, and I have trouble making friends. I don't know how to drive yet, and we never really had the money to buy me my own car. My parents are overprotective, so they don't let me outside, and I see no reason to learn. I don't have a job yet. I don't have any skills. I'm trying to learn coding so that I can make games. I really want a girlfriend, but because of all the above, it's hard, and I've tried dating sites with no luck. Oh, and it is okay that I have a crush on a really good friend? She's in the UK, so even if I wanted to, I couldn't do anything. And she's 13, and I'm 25, and she has a boyfriend, so I would never do that. The 13-year-old thing is kind of messing me up. You should probably erase those thoughts from your head. It's okay that you think she's neat and that she's going to make somebody very happy someday, but that somebody isn't you. That's the deal. But let's get on to the other stuff. As I read this letter, I think, man, this guy needs motivation. And the only guy that's going to motivate you is you. It's time for you to, strap on your courage suspenders and go out there and make you the best you can be. It's time for you to not settle for what you have going on. You tell me your parents are overprotective. You are 25. Stand up tall and be you. You tell me you don't know how to drive yet, but you seem to want to, and based on your letter, I think you're from America. Go make that happen. Go get your goals done. You don't have a job? Everybody can get a starter job. Everybody. You want to be motivated? Go out and make that happen. It's almost like when you're depressed or when you're not having success in life. This failure breeds failure breeds failure. And there's like a seal on your life. And you need to pop that seal off and bring in the better version of what you can be. And it's time to just do that. I can't pop the seal off for you, but you can. You can turn off your monitor and make something new happen. You can, go out there and explore the world. You can find and meet women in real life that you have a shot with, and not 13-year-old gamers who are across the Atlantic Ocean. You can go out there and make things big. You want to learn to code? Great. Get a job in tech support where maybe that's a little aspect of it. There are, jobs where you can build yourself up and go higher. If you don't have the confidence to do these things, fake it. Fake it till you make it. But go out there and make things go. Only you can motivate you, but you can flip that switch and fake it. And drive towards getting what you want. Drive towards getting to the next stage in your life. It's out there, right? You live in America, I think, and there's a tremendous amount of opportunity here, and in just about any first world country, you can bring yourself to the next level. You can look back at the 25-year-old version of yourself and say, yes, that's when I turned it around. That's when I flipped the switch and decided to be the best version of me. It's in you. It's in all of us, but it has to come from you. Every so often I get someone who says, Woody, your Mail Mondays inspired me to do this and that. It changed my life. No, you changed your life. You made it happen. You're telling me oh yeah, I watched your video and then I joined the soccer team and I got thin and I got girls and I got serious about grades. And what I hear is all this I joined the soccer team. I got the grades. Yes, you did. You decided to flip the switch and be the awesome version of you. And it is time for our 25-year-old virgin here to do the same. It is time for him to think about where he aspires to be and then execute on the plan that takes you there. And if you actually do that, things will really change. I got robbed last night, so I'm going to keep this short. I was walking home last night around 2 a.m., and I decided since I turned onto the street I live on, I was okay. I pulled out my phone and looked down to reply to one of my friends, when all of a sudden this black kid with a hoodie came up, grabbed my shirt, and said, "You got something?" and hit me in the face. I was trying to put my phone in my pocket and get my hands up, but he pushed me against the fence and onto the floor and started kicking me. He was trying to grab my phone, and I wasn't giving it, so he kicked me a few more times and went for my phone again. The pocket on my pants eventually gave, and he snatched my phone and ran. Are there any easy ways to cope and forget about this? I recall you were saying something about being robbed when you were younger. Thanks in advance if you do reply, Woody. Oh my gosh. I know exactly what you went through. Yours is probably worse than mine. For those that don't know my story, I'll tell you in fast forward. I was 17. This guy would come into my house and he would rob us. He would take like my mother's cash. At first, I thought it was my brother. He thought it was me. We talked about it, figured out that it wasn't. Time and time again, he would rob us on like Friday night. My mom would go and get like her week's worth of cash at the ATM machine every Friday night. And so he kind of figured out that pattern and just took it. Like she hung her purse on like a kitchen chair, and then she started hiding her purse. But he went through the kitchen cabinets and found it, and it was terrible. And one night I was sleeping on a couch, and I had my wallet next to me. It was this like Velcro wallet that surfers wore at the time, and right on the coffee table, like 18 inches away from me while I was sleeping, the robber opened up my wallet, took the cash out, tossed it onto their couch, and left. And the feeling of invasion was gigantic. Like I never really understood what people were talking about when they discussed that point before. Like I just didn't get it. Like feeling of invasion, what's the big deal, whatever. No, and maybe it won't be a big deal for you, but for me it was super. And I couldn't deal with the fact that my safe place wasn't a safe place anymore. And that was, it was huge for me. So eventually, one night the guy came and I heard him like walking on the stairs, and I came to the steps to meet him. It was super late, like 4 a.m. And I saw his fingers. We had an outside door that led to our basement, and then the basement led into the house. And I saw his fingers wrapped around the door as he was either coming into the house or maybe he changed his mind and he was closing the door. And I kicked the door in his fingers, opened it up, and started screaming every bad word I knew at the guy. Just, fuck you, motherfucker. And so I did that for a bit, and it woke my father, and my father like gave chase and chased him out like the backyard, but it didn't work out, and the police came with their canine units and everything. And eventually I read in the paper that they caught a guy who fit his description and charged him with like 28 counts of burglary, and I think they got him. And that's as much closure as I have. For the next decade, I had nightmares. Literally 10 years, I had night terrors about this thing. I would, it was always the same. So I'm asleep, and in the dream, I see like a figure coming at the door. He's like backlit, so I can't see what's going on. And it's this like dark silhouette against a bright background, and he would enter the room. I would want to wake up and address this, but I'm like asleep. And you know how you have those like dreams where you're asleep and it kind of impacts like what you're actually feeling? That's what this was. So because I'm asleep and I can't like move and talk, I would just make these like moaning, grunting sounds. And in the dream, that would manifest itself as being paralyzed with fear. So, here I am like paralyzed with fear in my night terror until I managed to actually like wake up and regain consciousness. And then I would realize that I'd be all sweating and everything, and that everything is okay. And it lasted for a long time, so like while I got robbed as a teenager, like it happened as I was married and stuff. And my wife would like console me and say it's okay and stuff, and it was actually quite kind of her. I should have had help, right? I should have had someone to talk to. I should have met with a therapist. If you're as bothered as I was by my getting robbed experience, you should definitely like seek some sort of help. Or I imagine that you're young based on this story, so tell your parents that you want to talk to a therapist or something. If you're getting nightmares about this, don't let it fade over the course of a decade like I did. Some people aren't fazed by these things, and some really are. I once gotten myself in big trouble in the community by comparing the kind of experience you had to like a sexual abuse type thing by a woman. And it wasn't meant to be that like, rape is okay, which is how people painted it. What it really was saying that the kind of emotional trauma that impacts a guy getting beat in an alley like that is almost related to the kind of emotional trauma that that a woman can have from sexual assault. It's really not the physical abuse that is the long-lasting trouble about this thing. And I'm sure you're recovered from your injuries pretty much already. The real trouble is it okay to be in the dark anymore? Is it okay to be alone anymore? My sense of security and privacy is removed. The idea that, I'm, going to be okay, or I can take care of myself, is taken away from me. That's the trauma that comes from being abused by somebody else, like you have, or like, somebody else could be. And of course, there's different levels of abuse. There's more severe beatings and stuff. And I don't want to get into trouble again, but to me, the bigger damage from this thing is not the loss of the phone, or the tears in your jacket, or whatever bruises you might have from being kicked. The real damage is the fact that you might not feel okay anymore. And that not feeling okay is the thing that you should seek professional help about. That's what's in my head right now. So I listened to what I just said and thought, you know what, I didn't really add enough of my own thought patterns. And this is what's burning. Every so often you hear like something terrible happen, like a movie theater shooting, or a shooting in like a college/university setting, and you feel like the world is a super dangerous place. And, to some extent it is, but by and large, it's not. Most people aren't bad people. If I were to take my gun collection to a public place, I could do a lot of damage before I was stopped. But I don't, because I'm not a crazy person. I'm not an idiot. Most people are not crazy idiots. And that's critical to keep in mind. I know something bad happened to you in an alley, and your sense of safety has been somewhat violated. But that doesn't mean that that violation is going to happen on a regular basis. It's never happened before. It's smart to keep your guard up, but for the most part, people are good. And it's critical to keep that in mind, that not all these guys are going to be bad. Oh, and I'll say this. I had a friend when I was in high school, and he was actually a little racist before he had an event like yours, and he was beaten much, much worse than you were by like several guys, and they were black. And it turned him into like the super racist. Please don't let that happen to you. Don't let one bad apple influence your opinion on an entire group of guys under the same skin color. And don't get racist because somebody black took your phone. All the other black people in the world did not take your phone and shouldn't be held responsible for one idiot's mistake. I hope this video was worthy of your like. Thanks.